Hey guys, I'm Alexa with Strategic Placement Group. We're hoping everybody's having a great day. Welcome to our SPG podcast. Joining me again today is Stan. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Awesome. I'm so glad. What are we talking about today?
Today, I think we're going to talk about why it's important to advertise in a down economy.
That would be a very good subject for right now.
I
Absolutely.
think so.
So let me ask the question. I think I say this a lot. Let's just dive on into it.
Go.
Why is it important to market in a down economy?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I'm so happy you asked that. So, I think it's been proven over time that those who stop advertising in order to save money when the economy does unfortunately take a turn, which, as everyone knows, our economy is cyclical. If you're over the age of 20, you know there's ups and downs in spending and in costs
Right.
of goods and services, and that's just the nature of life. However, those who do pull back, especially those who pull back to nothing in order to save money, find that they rather quickly will lose market share to their competition.
Because that's really common, right? I mean, especially in small business.
Sure.
I mean, you're managing everything, and I feel like that's a very common thing that, it's almost like fear, the fear factor, the what if.
Oh, the what if.
We don't
and then
know what's going on, and you pull all your funds,
Yeah.
and you're like, we just need to sit back and hold on to some money and see where this is going to go.
Sure.
But
And that's a natural tendency, I think, for most business owners, as you said, mostly the small and medium-sized business owners. I think you might have an example you're going to talk about later about a rather large company.
Right.
It's a good example to talk about. So yes, it's definitely common. It's sometimes can be a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and I know that's easier said on the outside looking
Yeah,
in,
it is.
because as a business owner, you're worried about, can I make payroll next week? Can I keep the doors open on the rent or the lease? Can I make the insurance payments or the electric bills or whatever?
right.
I've got
We've
all
been
of
there.
this stuff. Oh, totally.
We had those same conversations.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I mean, what small business doesn't have that? Have some or all of those issues at some point or time. But the problem when doing that is that, again, like I said, you'll lose rather quickly market share to the competition who hasn't withdrawn. They haven't pulled back. Maybe they haven't increased, but they've maintained. And then when you, as a business owner that did pull back, when you get to the point where you can come back on in whatever marketing capacity
Right.
you can, whether it's anything, television, radio, digital, whatever, you're getting back out into the marketplace to try and regain some effort. It's going to cost you twice as much to regain
Right.
the market share that you lost.
Right. And with that, you mean basically putting yourself back in front of that consumer, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
so like my example, I'll go ahead and read it. Let me pull it up here. I know it is a bigger company, but it's talking about Kellogg's during the Great Depression. In the 1920s, Post was the leader in the market, but when the Great Depression hit, the company reduced its marketing considerably. Meanwhile, its biggest rival, Kellogg's, doubled their advertising expenditure and quickly saw their profits boom up 30%. In fact, after they overtook the top position in the 1920s, Kellogg's is still the leader in that market today.
100 years
Yeah,
later.
a century later. And they actually had dolls. Maybe that's another reason they gave dolls away with their...
Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
That's right.
They put it in the cereal.
They put it in the cereal, I guess. That was the giveaway.
Well, that brings up an interesting thought.
Yeah, we don't have to go there. But anyway, but to your point,
I mean, the thought's there. So in the 1920s, they probably didn't wrap the dolls in plastic.
they would not be COVID friendly, I don't think.
No.
I don't know.
So
I don't know how that works.
Does that mean that Mama Bear got...
No.
Oh,
No, we're not going there. But anyway, to your point, this is a prime example. I mean, these are I don't know how big those companies were in the 1920s, but
Pretty big
one
now.
pulled their market share, they pulled all their marketing back, and the other one just took off. And now they're still leading because they never allowed themselves not to be in the forefront of the consumer's mind.
Yeah, and you got to think...
Plus, they gave away dolls.
Yeah. Well, you told me not to talk about where she found the oats.
Yes. Stop it.
The point, though, is 100 years later, how many other cyclical economic events have occurred?
Oh, sure.
Tons.
Sure.
Right? So they obviously learned their lesson in the Depression era. And then
I bet Post isn't going to do that again.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
both Post and Kellogg's learned their lesson in the Depression era, and that's, again, from the outside looking in, talking to small business and medium-sized business owners out here who we hope you're watching. It's easier said on the outside, especially to utilize somebody like Post or Kellogg's as your example.
Right, they're very well established.
Yeah,
so
I mean they're fairly large in comparison to the majority. I think of the majority of people that are hopefully watching. But those examples can be found all through the last 100 years.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can talk about Cokes and Pepsis and Kellogg's and Post, but go to those small mom and pop stores in your market that
right.
that you have patroned over the years, whether it's a good that you're purchasing or a service that you're purchasing. Think about that.
Right. Well, and just see, exactly in our local markets, I can think of
several
businesses off the top of my head that really pushed through during the time of the shutdown and thought out of the box. And how are we going to stay in front of our people's mind, even if it's like a service that they provided,
Well, yeah, I was going to bring up a topic there. So that brings up another segment of this, which is, are you selling an actual item, a tangible physical item, or are you selling a service? If you are in the business of selling an item of some kind, and on the shelf has a retail value item, you stand the opportunity to regain your market share a little faster once you come back in.
Right.
Because you may be able to offer, you may have something that is maybe a little more on the rare side, or something that you're more easily able to offer a good call to action to, like a BOGO sale or a 20% off or something to get people to re-engage with you once you are able to get back on the marketing plan. Whereas if you are in a service industry, name it. You're an electrician, a plumber,
right.
a dentist's office, whatever. You are providing a service. You are going to find it tremendously harder to regain that market share because of the nature of your business. You don't have a tangible item that you can instantly discount,
right.
or something that is an uncommon item that is in demand. You don't have that opportunity. If you're a dentist, you're cleaning teeth and you're filling cavities. Okay, how many dentists out there are filling teeth and cleaning
several,
teeth?
right.
Yeah, there's several. So, same thing with electrician or plumber or a restaurant or anything like that. You're in that service industry where people have so many options in just about any market. So, for you to pull back in a downturn of economy is really going to hurt you even more so in the long run. And so I guess we're going to think about the initial possible knee-jerk reaction. Well, economy's down. I don't know what's going to happen next month or next week.
Right. I got to save that money.
I need to save. Okay, yeah, that may be fixing or somewhat illusionally fixing your short-term issue. But what does that do to address your long-term problem that you're going to have? And so you have to think about that long-term problem, which is there. It's going to be there. If you pull back, you've got a problem down the road. 6 months, 12 months, it's coming.
So you still want to make sure that, even like you said, if it's a service, if you don't have a product that's even available, you want to make sure you're still putting yourself out there in front of people, even if it's just imagery. Don't forget about, branding. I think you can do those thinking out of the box things with different things you can discount and whatnot. But I think another thing you can do too is, if you have, keep going back to your core base, your loyal followers, customers, people that you've serviced before, and just keep reiterating that, thank you for your business. I know.
It doesn't have to be.
You don't have to be pushing a discount.
No,
it's
just maintaining top of mind awareness. It's maintaining real estate in the mind of your potential customers. So when they're ready for that, they remember you.
Absolutely. And do you not also believe that, or feel that this also emulates an image of strength?
Oh, sure.
And we're going to push through.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
the bigger picture and leadership. I think that's really important because don't you feel like it gives the consumer confidence?
Absolutely does.
In that business?
And again, if you are in that business where you feel you need to pull back that marketing in a down economy, I invite you to think about this part of that. not pull back all of it. Maintain a
Right.
presence. It doesn't have to be as hardcore of a presence as you may have had, say, 6 or 8 months ago. But maintain a presence. Again, just to keep top of mind awareness, just real estate in the mind of those people so that when they're ready for your service, your product, whatever it is, they think of you. They're going to be thinking of your competition.
Right.
That's definitely the competition that's advertising. They're going to be thinking of them.
And that is something to think about, because if you're not putting yourself in front of these people, somebody else will, just like Kellogg's. It just,
But take a real-time example right now in the automotive industry. I don't care what market you're in. I don't care what part of the country you live in. If you're an automotive dealer, or you work with an automotive dealer, or you work for one, the biggest problem you face right now is the automotive chip issue.
Right. It doesn't matter where you are. You're
Inventory is awful. Nobody has anything, or very little, and that's just an industry-wide problem. Now, what we have been finding over the last several months on that is many of the dealers who have previously been out there very hard, maybe market leaders in advertising in their given area, many of them have pulled back to zero.
really? Completely?
Zero. Some have completely.
I knew they were pulling back, but I didn't know that.
Some have pulled back completely. None of those are our clients, so that's fine. Pull back all you want.
Because we're going to get that extra 30%. Boom.
We want that extra
That's
30% for our customers, definitely. So, and that's with our customers. I had a conversation, yesterday, and again just before this podcast, we talked again for a car dealer, and the initial reaction a couple days ago is, I don't know what to advertise. I don't have any inventory. So we take a look at the inventory, and sure, on the new side, doesn't have anything. On the used side, it's not bad.
Right.
I mean, it's been better. It's been a lot better.
Sure.
But it's not awful. And in comparison to the competition within the territory that this person is in, it's average-ish, maybe a hair below, but still holding his own on the used inventory. So that's good. But here's the other thing: what else do you have to offer?
Right.
You've got a service department.
Yes.
You've got a service department that needs to be hammered down.
Right.
And get that business in the shop. Get that absorption rate for your dealership up. Get that service department to pay even a bigger percentage of your monthly bills, especially during this time. Because if you can increase that part of your business, in this example of an automotive dealer, if you can increase that part of your business now, you'll maintain that.
Right. And that's emulating that strength, and that
but
we're still going.
It does.
That imagery.
Top of mind awareness and all that. But here's what happens. So if you can increase that absorption rate, you increase your service tickets, you increase how much that service department is paying those monthly bills. If that's going up now, when those new units start coming in, which that's still a whole other conversation, maybe end of this year, probably going to be March or April, if I'm guessing, before that starts to somewhat roll back around, hopefully. But when that does happen, you'll maintain that service business. You've already gained it. You've already earned it.
Right.
You'll hold it. As long as you do the job right, you'll hold it. Now what happens? Now you're in better position than you were a year before, 2 years before, 3 years before.
Plus you have the inventory.
Now you've got the inventory, so everything just becomes better all the way around. You know you're going to have the inventory problem for the next probably 6 months. It is what it is. Tough shit. Sorry. I mean, there's nothing nobody can do about that.
That's right. We're all kind of stuck.
We're all stuck. So suck that one up, deal with it, and focus on what you can focus on, which in this case, in this example, would be that service, increase the service tickets.
Right. So it really goes back to thinking out of the box. I mean, in that example, you had the mindset was totally focused on the inventory, and you had to take it think about what else can you offer?
But also think about, we'll stick with automotive here. Think about that. How many car dealer commercials has everybody seen over the years? A blue million.
Yes.
Right? How many of those as a percentage are all in cars? Like 99.5%. I mean, it's either in cars or it's in a branding piece with customer testimonials.
Right.
Right. How many people, as car dealers, really focus on pushing that service department? Very few.
Very few.
And definitely not in the capacity that they do for the new units or even the used units.
Right.
So there again, if you're a car dealer right now, you got the service department. Hopefully you've got a moderate amount of used inventory that's quality. Push that used inventory. I mean, that's what we're pushing with our clients right now. Push the used, push service heavy. 60-70% of your marketing spend in the service, the rest towards used vehicles. And you're keeping the brand out there, your brand, your dealership brand. You're keeping that top of mind awareness. Excuse me. You're building. Hopefully, you're doing a good job in building that revenue stream in the service sector. So there again, inventory comes back in for new. That might cause a whole other problem with used inventory a year from now, but that yet to be seen. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But when that new inventory comes back in, those trucks start arriving every week again, hopefully soon, with loaded full and not just onesies and twosies. Then yeah, you're in a better shape. So all of this, whether it's Post and Kellogg's or a car dealer or a dentist office, these conversations are equal across the board.
They're like interchangeable. You know, I mean, everybody's dealing with the same thing.
Absolutely.
So what about the really small? I mean, everything we've kind of talked about has been, you know, what about how can we relate that to really small business? You know, or is it really any different? Does it relate just the same?
No, different. I mean, now we're talking about a really small business, like a 1 or 2 person operation. Maybe it is a small, say, electrician, for example. There's a master electrician and an apprentice. That's it. You got one van, and that's your team. That's your crew.
Right.
Maybe they had a marketing budget of $1,000 a month. Maybe.
Okay.
8 months ago.
Sure.
Now, maybe they don't. So how do you afford to keep spending? Maybe you don't spend, but maybe you spend a little time and effort in your social media platforms.
Right. So that image awareness, that contacting
You're still
those
staying
clients,
out there. You're still staying out there.
You know, keeping, like we discussed, keeping yourself in front of, you know, that base that you've already created for yourself.
You know, you're a plumber. Let's get some before and after pictures. You know, you got a pipe burst. I know it sucks when you go to that and there's water everywhere and there's a problem and the homeowner's in chaos and all that. Take 4.5 seconds, get your phone out and take a picture of what that looked like when you got there.
Right.
You know, ask the homeowner if you can post it, but take a picture. Get it all cleaned up, fix the problem, take another picture and do a before and after.
Yeah.
Here's what we got a call on today. Here's what happened 4.5 hours after we left. Boom.
That's right.
That's a social media post.
Yes, and those images really stay in front of people's minds too.
Yeah, and if you're doing that and you have the homeowner's permission to use it, also ask the homeowner if you mind if you tag them in the post. Get some, hopefully some organic engagement through that.
Sure.
And spread that word.
Right, and it helps build your community. Absolutely. So I like that. I like what you're saying though. Just because you might not have the money, you know, it's going to cost you a little more in time, and you can keep, because even if you're doing emails and, you know, if you're sending out newsletters, whether it's through email or your social media, or, you know, you are still keeping yourself in front of those people's minds.
Absolutely. I think that's your biggest point. So yeah, maybe you're not, maybe you normally didn't have a several $1,000s or tens of $1,000s to work with 8 months ago. And now you're down to, do I do anything or do I cut it in half or whatever? Maybe you are in that very small business category where I literally can't spend $1. I just can't. Again, we've been there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes, we have.
I can't spend $1. I got payroll, I got this, I got that, blah, 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 blah. Spend your time.
Yeah.
You know, time is money. Take your money, put it into your time instead. Focus on that social media.
That's right.
Just keep the name out there.
That's right.
Show
and
some
figure
engagement.
out a plan. You know,
Plan.
Figure out your plan for your quarter. And then if you're able to start, you know, your revenues coming back in and build from there, you know, I mean, it's really important too to think out of the box and create that plan.
Then when things turn around, this is your final piece of the puzzle. When things turn around, because they will, just hang in there. They always do.
Right.
Sometimes it take a little longer than others, but it'll come back up again.
Right. And it always feels like longer than it really was.
Yes, it does. But when that does come back up, when you're doing your annual budgets for your business, put yourself a line item there for marketing if it's not already there, which it should be there. But if it's not, make sure it's there. But then also make a savings line item to plan for these eventual downturns in the future. They will happen again.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, kind of like a little marketing nest egg.
Nest egg, build that, just build it. And then and however much you can, so that if you face this again, you have that to fall back on so that you don't lose that market share. Because the trickle effect from losing the market share affects everything else you're worried about anyway. You're losing sleep because you don't know payroll and rent and utilities and insurance and everything else. Well, you lose market share, and that's just going to become a future problem again.
Right.
So do what you can to maintain now. Once it clears, we're back on top again. Things are moving better for you. Keep that nest egg building, and just be disciplined about that all the time, every month. Discipline.
Right. Consistency and discipline. I love it. I love it. I feel like
I'm out.
you drop the mic. I feel like we covered this well. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope this was helpful to you. If, like we say all the time, if you have any questions, you're welcome to call us, come down and see us, or you can email us or find us on our social media. Make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Please do.
And we wish everyone a blessed day. And like we always say, until next time.